The harvest of the burlap men. So let me tell you why I never, ever set foot back in the Nebraska panhandle. This happened maybe 3 years ago, right in the middle of a record-breaking heat wave. The air was dead. No wind, no birds, nothing. Just the sound of those massive corn stalks rubbing together in the fields. If you've ever lived out there, you know that sound. It's like whispering. If you listen long enough, it starts to sound like voices. My buddy, Jackson, and I were staying at his family's old farmhouse. It's a total relic, miles away from the nearest neighbor. Just us, a couple of lukewarm beers, and 1,000 acres of sun-bleached corn. Around midnight, the power flickers, then just dies. The silence that followed wasn't normal. It was heavy, like the house was holding its breath. We were sitting on the back porch in the pitch black when we heard it. A thump. Then, another. Something heavy was dragging itself through the rows, right at the edge of the yard. Jackson grabs his heavy-duty mag light, the kind you could use as a club, and clicks it on. The beam cuts through the dust and hits something wrong. Standing right at the edge of the field was a man. At least, it looked like a man, but he was wearing a suit made entirely of burlap sacks. It was stitched together with this thick, oily, black wire. No face, just 2 jagged, hand-cut holes where the eyes should be. He wasn't moving. He was just staring. Jackson's voice was shaking. I could hear the fear in his throat when he yelled, "Hey, get off the property, now!" The thing didn't run. It didn't even flinch. It just tilted its head. A slow, sickening crack came from its neck. And then, from the corn behind it, 10 more of them stepped out. All in burlap, all silent, all watching us with those empty black pits. We bolted inside and slammed the heavy oak door. I remember the sound of the deadbolt clicking. It felt so small, like a toothpick trying to stop a freight train. We could hear them, circling the house. Their fingernails, or whatever they had under those sacks, were scratching against the wooden siding. Scritch, scritch, scritch. Jackson was pacing in the kitchen, clutching a steak knife. His knuckles were white as bone. He kept whispering, "They aren't real. They're just scarecrows. It's just the beer, man. It's just the beer." But the scratching didn't stop. It got faster, more aggressive. Then, the house went quiet again. The silence was 1,000 times worse. We stood in that kitchen, breathing so shallowly it actually hurt. Jackson crept toward the window to peek through the blinds. And that's when the cellar door, the one inside the kitchen floor, blew open with enough force to shatter the hinges. This stench hit us. It smelled like ancient dirt, rotting husks, and something metallic, like old blood. I didn't look back. I didn't check on Jackson. I know that makes me a coward, but I didn't care. I jumped through the living room window, glass shredding my arms, and I ran. I ran through those cornfields for miles. Every time a leaf touched my skin, I felt like I was going to lose my mind. I didn't stop until I hit Highway 77 at dawn, waving down a trucker like a lunatic. When the sheriff went out there, the house was perfect. No broken glass, no blood, no sign of a struggle, and no Jackson. But they did find something in the very middle of the field. They found a new scarecrow. It was bound tightly in burlap and wrapped head to toe in that thick, black wire. When the sheriff cut the stitches, he didn't find straw. He found Jackson's silver watch, still ticking, strapped to a wrist made of bone and dried corn husks. Jackson was gone. But that scarecrow, it had his eyes. I still hear that whispering in my sleep. It's not the wind, it's the corn. And out in Nebraska, the harvest is never over.